don't play dumb. You know exactly what you did. Delete the post right now.
My ex-husband, Tom, finally seems to have realized about my revenge. I created a video to reply for my ex-husband's video, which is named as "The Useless Wife Messed Up My Lunch, so I'm throwing it away again today." And I tagged this under my video named as "Will the lunch be thrown away by my ex-husband again today? The very tasty lunch which was made by my mother-in-law." My name is Lauren. I have been married for 1 year to my husband, Tom. I had no doubt that we were still newlyweds and would enjoy our days together as a husband and wife. But unfortunately, the reality is cruel. About 6 months into our marriage, my husband's work suddenly became very busy, and so I spent more and more time at home alone. I also have a job and work at a company. It is very possible for office workers like my husband and I to suddenly become very busy, and that is why I could not notice my husband's strange attitude and actions at all. In addition, since my husband started working very hard, my mother-in-law, Susan, started coming to our house unannounced more often, and I was just busy dealing with her. I would usually come home around 7 p.m., and as I got home from work, Susan's unannounced visits would begin again like a daily routine. The doorbell would ring. I look at my watch and see that it is 7:15 p.m. I have a feeling that she must have been waiting for me somewhere. "You came home late again today, didn't you?" We live a bit far from my office, so it's inevitable that I get home around this time.
Is Tom working late again today?
Yes, he has been doing overtime for some time now.
So it's just you and I once again, huh?
Well, Susan, if you want to see your son, Tom, how about you coming over on the weekend from now on?
I didn't say I didn't want to be alone with you.
Yes, but I have told you every time you come here to please contact me in advance if you're coming over. I also have a lot to prepare for when you come here.
Oh, that's fine. I don't want you to just prepare for me in particular. Besides, I have to make sure that Tom eats something nutritious. I made it again today, so please make sure Tom eats it, okay?
I understand. My mother-in-law is a reliable mother who raised my husband and my brother-in-law all by herself, so I respect her for that. However, I think she may be over-interfering. I am married after all, and I don't think that I'm bad at cooking. Susan would come over to our house twice a week and leaves a lot of dishes she has cooked. Well, she doesn't charge us for the ingredients, and the food tastes really good. And my mother-in-law is making my share of the food too. Even though I was feeling a little uneasy about it, I decided to think that she was worried about her son.
I'm home.
I looked at the clock and saw that it was around 11 p.m. Welcome home. Have you eaten?
I've eaten. I'm going to take a shower and go to bed.
Okay, good night. Lately, we don't have more than 5 minutes of conversation a day. My husband doesn't talk to me much anymore, probably because he is just exhausted. It's hard for me to try to talk to him when he shows signs that he is clearly exhausted like that. I wonder how long this kind of life will continue. I felt uneasy about our relationship. One day, on his day off, my husband left the house early because he had to work on his day off. Then I received a call from one of my friends, Anna. "Are you free today?" "Yes, I am. I'm so free." "Can I come over to your house?" "Of course, you are more than welcome." Half an hour later, Anna came over to my house to visit me. She has known me since we were in college, and we've become such good friends that we go out for dinner once every 2 weeks. "How are you?" What are you saying all of a sudden? Of course I'm fine. "I see. Hey, what is it?" "Well, I'm just going to say it plainly. I found your husband Tom's social media." "What? I don't think Tom does that kind of thing, though." "I know, right? But anyway, look at this. Anna then showed me the screen of her phone. And when she played back the video, I saw a lunchbox, which looked really familiar to me. I also recognized the watch which was shown through the man's suit. But once I saw the title of the video, I completely turned pale. The title of the video was, "Useless Wife Who Makes Disgusting Meals and Lunch. I'm Throwing It Away Today Too." I was absolutely, completely mortified. Oh my god. This is Tom. Right? This is going pretty viral, you know. Are you serious? Oh yeah, you're right. It looks like Tom has a lot of followers. When I took a closer look at the content of Tom's social media site, I could see that he calls it a way to relieve stress over his wife's bad cooking habits. And he goes into great detail about the contents of his lunch and showing how he actually trashes the lunches right into the trash. And isn't Tom coming home late these days? Excuse me? Well, yes, for the past 6 months or so. He has been busy all of a sudden. Well, he's probably not working overtime. I think he's having an affair. What? It's this person, you know. She's commenting on his videos frequently. I checked the woman's account. Then there are a bunch of posts about them eating the same food at the same time. After seeing that, I knew that Tom surely was cheating on me. How did you find out? Well, it's my job, you know. Oh yeah, that's right. Anna happens to be in the web marketing department and does a lot of market research. She was searching for posts that had recently been going viral and increasing views on videos, and happened to come across my husband's social networking site. I thanked Anna about her information and headed to a private investigator's office. When I showed the video of my husband's social media to the owner of the investigator's office, he said,
"Your husband needs to be sanctioned."
I signed a contract with the investigator on the same day. A week later, I received the investigation result, and I confirmed with them that the social media belonged to my husband and that he was cheating on me. I had no choice but to divorce him. When he threw away the lunch, that's just unbelievable. But that alone was not enough to blame my husband for our marriage. Now that I have the result, I can play the perfect game against him. From there, I spent the next 2 weeks preparing for the divorce in various ways. Then, on the day of the first match between my husband, he ended up coming home early. The reason why for this is because I had earnestly told him that I had something important to discuss with him. My husband must have probably felt guilty about something. He came home without any hesitation, and he asked me right away what it was about.
"What do you want to talk about?"
Wait here for a minute. Susan will be here soon too. My husband somehow looked really nervous. He must have sensed something. Then my mother-in-law arrived. Now that all the members for this meeting are here, I will tell you the reason why I called you both here today. I am divorcing Tom.
What?
My husband's mouth was wide open in shock.
What do you mean divorce?
It's because I thought I couldn't continue my marriage with Tom anymore.
What? Is it because I work late and do overtime? If you're a wife, you should put up with that much at least.
At that point, my husband must have decided that he wasn't being discovered. So that's why he was suddenly being very aggressive. Well, can you take a look at this? Saying that, I put the report which I received from the private investigator in front of them. At that moment, my husband, perhaps in a hurry, snatched the report away.
What the hell is this? Did you hire somebody to research about me?
That's right.
I told you. I was working overtime, didn't I?
Overtime, huh? Oh, so you were with a woman named Meredith every day around that time, and that's what you call overtime, huh?
Tom, hurry up and hand me that report right this instant.
Angered by his own mother, my husband reluctantly handed the report to her. Then, after a while, Susan started to tremble.
Your lunch? That's right. Mom, I can't eat Lauren's cooking, you know.
My husband, perhaps thinking that Susan had taken his side, continued to show his stubborn attitude.
If you want a divorce, then fine. I don't mind getting a divorce. But since you're the one who caused it, I won't pay you any alimony.
Even though you're cheating on me with Meredith?
I cheated on you because your cooking is just so bad. That's enough. Yeah, that's right. You think that your cooking is amazing, huh? Well, you should just taste and find out how disgusting they are, and don't just blame me for it. Seriously, that's enough.
But the next moment, my husband took a huge slap to his face.
I was saying it to you. That's enough. Oh, Mom? First of all, you better get down on your knees and apologize to Lauren here. Think about the feelings of your own wife who never doubted you and always waited for you to come back home. You stupid son.
Susan stormed up to my husband, who had a really red cheek because of the slap he took, and she pulled him down by the neck, forcing him to sit on his knees. Then Susan also sat upright and looked straight at me.
I'm terribly sorry, Lauren.
And saying that, Susan apologized to me. She also grabbed Tom's head and rubbed it against the floor at the same time.
Plus, the lunches that you said, which are disgusting, are the ones I made for you. What?
When my mother-in-law told him the truth, my husband began to tremble.
I'm really sorry, Mom. I didn't know you made them for me, Mom.
My mother-in-law glared at my husband sharply.
You're not allowed to throw any food away, no matter who made it. Yes, I'm sorry. And you had the outrageous nerve to videotape it and show it to the world. And on top of that, you cheat on your wife. You're doing the same thing that your own father did and making the wife sad. Shame on you. I am so ashamed of you.
Is that why you had a divorce, Susan?
Yes, I couldn't forgive my husband, you see. And I didn't tell my son the exact reason about it. I never thought he would do the same thing.
I see. Well, I have no choice but to divorce Tom.
And that can't be helped. It's what my son did, and he can never take back what he had done.
Susan looked very sad as she said this.
Wait a minute. I'm apologizing right now, right? I won't do it again.
Who can believe what Tom says now? And we're talking about my husband here. He's probably refusing to get a divorce because he thinks he's going to have to pay a huge alimony bill for what he did. Oh, don't worry. I won't ask for alimony. We've only been married for a year, so even if I did, it wouldn't be much.
Really?
His eyes were shining as he said that. Yeah, I won't. So please don't charge me anything in the future either.
I won't. I understand.
I knew it. He didn't care about the divorce, but he just didn't want to pay alimony. My husband just apologized as a short-term solution. We then divorced, and I demanded $10,000 in alimony from Tom's mistress, and confirmed that it had been transferred the other day. Susan kept on apologizing to me until the very end. Although Susan was the one who kept on coming over unannounced frequently, I have no grudge against her at all. I hope she will continue to live well. Susan was so furious about this incident that when my husband went to his own parents' house, they refused to let him in. But Susan has another son and his family who was really caring. I am glad that she has people who can relate to her feelings, which were hurt by Tom. But it would be a little while before I would regain my peaceful life. I waited for the second match to come. 2 weeks later, my ex-husband finally seemed to realize the revenge I had taken. That day, I was bombarded with phone calls from the morning. It was all from my ex-husband, of course. I slowly sipped my freshly brewed coffee and answered the phone.
Hey, you've got to be kidding me. Can't you even tell the difference between what's right and wrong?
What are you talking about?
Oh, don't play dumb. You know exactly what you did. Delete the post right now. Otherwise, I'll charge you with compensation.
My ex-husband Tom finally seems to have realized about my revenge. I created a video to reply for my ex-husband's video, which is named as "The Useless Wife Messed Up My Lunch, so I'm throwing it away again today." And I tagged this under my video named as "Will the lunch be thrown away by my husband again today? The very tasty lunch which was made by my mother-in-law." In that video, the lunch that Susan made for Tom was neatly being packed into his lunchbox for the morning. Then, not knowing about this, Tom posts a video of the exact same lunch, only he was being terrible about it and expressing how disgusted he was by it, and how he threw them away, in one long video. We live in this day and age. It is easy for people who use the internet to tie the two videos together. My video attracted voices defending me, while my ex-husband's video was harshly criticized. It got so viral that my ex-husband deleted all of his videos, but it was already too late. The archives are probably still all over the place. And just as I had planned, my ex-husband was fired from the company. My stupid ex-husband, unaware that his video contained a document with the company's symbolic logo, posted the video and viewers discovered about it. It became a big deal, since viewers even identified the company he was working at. And I knew this would all happen, because my friend Anna told me about it. You really should have friends.
You better pay me compensation.
You promised during the divorce that you wouldn't charge me anything in the future, no matter what.
Well, I didn't think you'd do this to me.
Oh, I see. Fine then, sue me. I'll fight you. I'll submit everything you did as evidence. And if I have to pay for it, that's fine too. I don't want any money. Even if the jury decides that I'm not good enough, I'm fine with that because I definitely know that I did the right thing. My ex-husband had lost his temper at first, but by the time I finished what I was saying, he was crying. Well, that's right. He had joined the company of his dreams since he was a child and was leading a smooth sailing life, but he had destroyed it all by himself. There is no room for sympathy. However, this time, I was able to do what I did because my ex-mother-in-law agreed to it. I had given my ex-mother-in-law the details of what my revenge and plans were in advance, knowing that she would refuse. If my ex-mother-in-law said no, I was not going to carry out this revenge. However, my ex-mother-in-law told me to do it, and I was able to carry out this revenge without any issues. Moreover, from being criticized by the lunch incident, Tom was even exposed to the public that he had cheated on me, and even the person with whom he had cheated on had been identified, and she also received severe criticism and bullying from the internet. At first, the woman was posting comments saying that there was something wrong with me, the wife, but before I knew it, the woman's account had been deleted. Being happy with how everything turned out in the end, I deleted the video. Some of you may think I went too far, but that's okay. There are all kinds of people in the world with all kinds of ideas. I am the type that if you get hit, you hit back. Wow, there are all kinds of people in the world. And please, don't waste any food. Tom destroyed his own dream with his own hands. But why can't I feel sorry for him? I guess I also am the same type as Lauren. Thank you for watching to the end. Please subscribe to our channel if you like. See you in the next video.
I'm going to marry the woman I'm having an affair with, so divorce me.
My husband says so, openly. And then he even said this to me.
I need you to take care of my parents for my new married life.
Huh? I'm counting on you from now on. I I can't be with these insane people who don't even blame their own son for having an affair, but instead try to depend on me. So I told them something. My in-laws turned blue and got down on their knees to me as hard as they could. I am so sorry. My name is Mel. I am a 40-year-old part-time housewife. My husband and I have been married for about 16 years. We met through work. We are colleagues in the same company. We worked together on the same projects and went out for drinks. My husband was 2 years older than me and seemed to be a much more mature man to me at that time. He was funny and cool, and I fell in love with him at once. After a few dates, we started dating. After about a year of dating, he proposed to me, and we got married. I was very happy that I was going to marry the man I loved. I was only 24 years old at the time, but I think I really loved him because I still decided to marry him. After that, my husband and I worked together and had a happy married life. 3 years into our marriage, our son, Zach, was born. He was so cute. I thought he was an angel when he was just born. We were building a good family and were happy. I think it was a good thing that I quit my job after the birth because I was able to devote myself to raising our son and spend a lot of time with him. And I had a good relationship with my in-laws. When I visited my in-laws, they talked to me kindly with smiles on their faces and made me feel comfortable. I thought that we had a really happy married life. My in-laws love their grandson, Zach, very much, so they often came in our house or would invite us to theirs. Then my husband made this suggestion.
Why don't we move in with my parents? Then they could see Zach every day and we could live in a big house without paying rent.
Indeed, I thought his proposal was a good one. It was because of the good relationship between my in-laws and me at that time. My son is going to grow up and it would be better for him to live in a bigger house where he can live freely. So I agreed to live with them. However, I came to realize that my decision was wrong at that time. At first, I thought that living together was going very well. My parents-in-law seemed very happy to be able to live with their grandchild, and my husband seemed relaxed to be back at home. I did my best to do housework as a housewife, and my parents-in-law and my husband never complained to me. My son grew up to be a good boy, and we all watched him grow up. However, there was one thing that bothered me a little. My parents-in-law spoiled my son too much, buying him everything and giving him allowance without my permission. I saw this and thought it was not good for his upbringing, so one day I said to my in-laws, "Could you please stop buying Zach so many things?" When I said this, my in-laws' eyes widened and they became angry. "Are you going to deprive us of the joy of spending time with our Zach? Do you think you are the only one raising him?" My in-laws yelled at me like that, but as a mother, I wanted to educate him properly. That's why I didn't back down. That's not what I'm saying. Of course, feel free to play with Zach. But please don't buy him things without asking me first.
Even if you say that, if Zach wants something, we want to buy it for him.
That's right. What if we don't buy it and we make him sad and he hates us? Are you going to take responsibility? It seems that my parents-in-law buy things for their grandchild to make him like them. But how are they going to take responsibility if my son becomes selfish because of it? I will explain to him that his grandparents are very kind and love him. So please, stop buying him too many things. Even though I had said all this, my in-laws did not seem to be convinced. Then they started talking to my husband when he came home from work as if it was my fault. Mel doesn't want us to play with Zach. She wants him all by herself. She wants to be the only one who gets to love him. I was surprised to hear my in-laws say something completely different, and my husband took them at their word.
Hey, what's the meaning of this? Are you being mean to my mom and dad?
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't do anything like that. I explained it to my husband. I told him that I just wanted them to stop buying too many things for Zach's sake. But he only believed what my in-laws said, not what I said.
That's a load of crap. Don't lie to me like that.
I'm not lying.
So you think my parents are lying?
My husband's eyes widened and he got angry like that. In the end, no matter how much I tried to explain, he believed what my in-laws said.
I didn't think you were such a terrible woman.
Since then, my parents-in-law have been cold to me.
The food you cook tastes bad. You serve fish too often.
Don't treat us like we're old, idiot.
Don't embarrass my mother and father. You're such a useless wife.
That's what they say to me every day. How can they keep abusing me like that? I think it's mentally exhausting to keep on picking on, and so I even considered divorce. But my son was still small, about 5 years old at the time, and I had been a housewife since he was born and had not worked for a long time, so I was worried about whether I would be able to find a new job. Besides, I was not sure if I would be able to leave with my son. Under the current circumstances, my in-laws can take care of him and my husband has a stable salary, so they might decide that it would be better for them to take him instead of me. I did not want to give up my son just because things were not going well with my in-laws, so I just had to endure without divorce. My in-laws and my husband began to say worse and worse things to me because I didn't resist. They abused me so much that I wondered if they were really the same people I'd known before, and I stopped thinking of them as human beings. It makes me feel a little better. I lived a hard life day by day in this way. No matter how badly my husband and in-laws treated me, I thought it would be better if I could be there to watch my son grow up. My son grew up fast and entered elementary school. I was worried that he might become selfish because my in-laws had given him too many things, but he is a good boy at home, and it seems to be the same at school. I was very happy when the homeroom teacher told me during the parent-teacher conference that my son is a very kind and considerate boy. And my son was studying hard and his grades were good. But for some reason, the people who were aware of this were making it as if it was their own achievement.
I guess it's because we did a good job raising him.
That's right. We praise him and we buy him whatever he wants. That's important. It doesn't make sense that if you buy him what he wants, his grades will improve. But my in-laws seem to want to involve themselves in everything. I just try to listen to them, praise my son's hard work. I never tried to bribe him with things like my in-laws did, but he still adored me. He always talked to me and told me about things that happened at school. I guess my in-laws did not like that. When my son reached middle school, the amount of things they bought for him increased. They used to buy him sweets and toys, but this time, they bought him the latest gaming consoles and games. No matter how much I tried to stop them, they wouldn't let me. So, I had to teach my son not to play too much and to be punctual and keep his promises. But even then, my in-laws still got themselves involved in a troublesome manner.
We feel sorry for him if he still wants to play. We want Zach to have fun, so we bought it for him.
Then I would report it to my husband and he would yell at me. I was completely disgusted. Anyway, all I wanted was for my son to grow up to be a good man. That was all I could think about as I went about my daily life. Time passed by and my son turned 13 years old. He's now a high school student and he's going through puberty, which may be very difficult for me as a parent. While I was thinking about this, an unexpected problem occurred. It was my husband's day off. My husband suddenly called me into the bedroom saying he wanted to talk to me. What on earth did he mean by inviting me here? I knew that he had no intention to do that because he and I had completely cooled off. And I myself didn't want to do such a thing with him anymore. While I was thinking about this, my husband suddenly made a surprising statement.
I'm going to marry the person with whom I'm having an affair.
What? I was surprised at the unexpected words from my husband.
Well, it's understandable to be surprised. I've been trying to keep you in the dark, but I thought it was time to tell you.
My husband told me so openly. Why would he want to tell the world that he's having an affair? Well, I don't know what a stupid person thinks. And finally, he says something like this.
I'm counting on you to take care of my parents for my new married life.
Huh? Wait a minute. You're getting a divorce, right? Then I'll have to leave with Zach, won't I? I said that and he said something crazy.
I'm the one who's leaving.
What? What do you mean?
So I'm going to leave here and start a new married life with my new wife. And I'm worried about my parents, so I'm leaving you in charge of the house. You'll have a house to live in with Zach, so it's a win-win.
I was speechless. It's not a win-win at all. I was at a loss for words at that crazy comment.
Well then, I'll tell them about it right away,
my husband said and suddenly started to go to the living room. I hurried after him. He gave the same explanation to my parents-in-law as he had given to me. I thought they would be angry at my husband for this, but my in-laws were also crazy people. Yes, I'll miss you, but, well, it can't be helped.
I know. The newlyweds should spend their honeymoon alone, so you'll take care of everything else, huh? I'll be counting on you.
My in-laws don't blame their own son for having an affair and try to depend on me. If you leave, I'll make sure you leave Zach behind. If you leave, you'll be the only one. I can't be with these insane people. I told them something. I'm telling you, since this is my husband's divorce, I can claim alimony and I have a better chance of getting my son.
What? What do you mean?
Because my husband committed adultery. Normally, the adulterer never gets custody, and the mother usually gets that.
Wait a minute. Then you'll take Zach and leave, won't you?
Yes, of course. That's the plan.
I won't let you.
That's it. Let's talk to Zach. My in-laws and my husband says so and went to call our son. Are they going to tell him everything? My son came into the living room. What's wrong?
Mom and Dad are getting a divorce.
What?
So you would like to stay here with your grandparents, wouldn't you?
That's an unfair way of explaining and asking questions. I quickly made my point. You better explain to him that you are divorcing me because of your adultery. When I said this, my husband and in-laws were in a panic.
Zach is just a junior high school student.
That's right. What are you trying to do to him by shocking him? My in-laws and husband were blaming me, but before I could say anything back, my son started talking. You're the one who caused the shock, aren't you? Why are you all blaming my mother? Well, I mean, I heard you all arguing earlier. So if you get divorced, which one of you will I follow? Of course, it's Mom. Zach, why? And don't you want to live with Grandpa and Grandma? You know, you were nice to me, but you were terrible to Mom, weren't you? To be honest, I can't forgive you. I despised you, and I despise Dad for not protecting her. Despise? My in-laws looked shocked. Anyway, I have one answer. I'm leaving here with my mom. From now on, I will protect her. Zach. I was so happy that my son was on my side. Then my in-laws turned pale and got down on their knees to me as hard as they could. We're sorry. Please don't leave this house. I don't want my grandchild to leave. My parents-in-law begged me. My husband, too.
Please, can't you guys stay here?
He asked me again, saying that it's his plan. My son and I were not going to give in at any cost. Zach and I will no longer have anything to do with you. We will leave this house, and we will leave this house for good. I said this and started to pack up my things. My son joined me in packing his bag with only what he needed for the time being.
Where are you going? I screwed up. If you guys go to your parents' house, Zach will have to change schools. Don't you feel sorry for him?
My husband said things like that and tried to keep us here until the end. But then My son said to him, "I'd rather change schools than to stay in this house forever. You should first be sorry for what you have done to Mom. The worst thing you did was to have an affair. Do you realize how much you've done to her?" My husband is being told off like that by a child who has just started high school. I tried hard not to laugh at how hilarious it was. My husband was kneeling on the ground with a pale face. My in-laws were so exhausted that they just slumped down on the ground. My son and I left the house, and I drove to my parents' house with him by my side. After that, I hired a lawyer and demanded divorce, alimony, and child support for my husband. Of course, I also demanded alimony from the adulterous partner. My husband thought that if I moved in with my parents, he would not have to pay child support. However, everything did not go as planned, and as a result, he had to pay alimony and child support. Furthermore, the affair partner also said that the story he had told her was different, and so he was eventually dumped. He is currently staying with my in-laws and putting most of his income towards alimony and child support. Incidentally, I told the neighbors about the affair and sent a certified letter to my ex-husband's workplace, so people around my ex-husband know about it, and they look at him coldly and refuse to get involved with him. "Because of you, we can't see Zach anymore." My ex-in-laws would blame my ex-husband.
It's because of my money that you have been living a good life, right?
It's said that they have been quarreling every day. My ex-husband sent me a message saying that he wanted to get back together with me, but I only read the message and blocked him. I also blocked his incoming calls so that he could not contact me at all. After I went back to my hometown with my son, I started working as an office worker for a friend of my father's company. Now, I am raising my son as a single mother with the support of my parents. My son has remained a kind-hearted child despite all that has happened, and he seems to be adjusting well to his new school. I will continue to work as hard as I can and watch my son grow up.